These are the required points to express in your ad. Feel free to paraphrase and speak from your own experience. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. So, it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And please make sure, this point, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Do you know the spelling of anchor.fm? ANCHOR.FM. Thank you for your listening. See you. Hello folks, this is Richard Gon. I'm Richard Gon of podcast Work to Live. Work to Live, which is the name of my podcast. Today, I'd like to talk about the donation of money. Yes, what I'm going to talk about is such a donation, and the title is Donating Money Earned with Adult Contents. Let me introduce myself. I'm an office worker working for a Japanese company. Yes. My main job, I don't know how to say this, but my main job is an office worker working for a Japanese company. But on the internet, I sell adult contents as a side job. And months before, I began a donation project, which means I donate the money I earned with adult contents to some donation programs. The first program I donated was Wikipedia. How many of you have donated Wikipedia? This is a question written in the blog I created, and which means I give money for Wikipedia. In my country, this is the case of my country, but it's possible to donate money for Wikipedia from 300 Japanese yen. And this 300 Japanese yen is approximately 2.8 US dollars. And this is a number calculated on September 20th of 2020. The purpose of the donation project is to let people know adult contents the purpose of the donation, which means the purpose of my donation project is to let people know adult contents are good for society. I'd like other people, or I'd like everyone to know that adult contents are good for society. And of course, creating a better world is what I would like to contribute and accomplish. And the reason I came up with and started this project is the recent atmosphere against adult contents, The recent atmosphere is really harsh, against atmosphere, People attack adult contents, like saying adult contents are really bad and adult contents are really harmful to people. But I wanted to change such an atmosphere. And one of the notable examples is the fact that years ago, an online service, Tumblr, maybe most of you know Tumblr, and that online service decided to prohibit adult posts, which were once allowed in the same service itself, which is a movement related to internet sanitization, growing welcome and prevalent these days. However, adult contents are, as their own nature, services to satisfy sexual desires, which are a physiological need. Without sexual desires, mankind couldn't have flourished in the way we take for granted every day. Without such sexual desires, people can't flourish. People couldn't have flourished. In the way we take for granted every day. You know, we can get iPhone, for example. We can get iPhone thanks to the flourishment, or how should I say, prosperity, thanks to the prosperity of mankind. If people expel such a physiological need out of the widespread internet world, what kind of influences are we going to incur? Considering the fact that the dependency of our lives on the internet service is getting larger, and if the internet refuses all the porn-related stuff, do we have to trash our own sexual desires? Which is also a question I have in my mind. As you know, finally, people are complicated creatures. Such desires, looking filthy, are necessary for our survival. After having physiological desires satisfied, we can begin to think about how to make our societies better. I think some kind of altruism, or some kind of feeling, wanting to contribute to society, would be based on such a satisfaction of physiological desires. And to suffice such desires, looking and really being clean and beautiful, like social needs, self-esteem, and stuff like them, the gratification of sexual desires is, I think, this is my idea about such a gratification of sexual desires is necessary, which is my idea, which is a principle lying under the donation project of mine. And this is all. And thank you for reading, and I think I'm going to create a blog post with this episode of my podcast. And as you hear, my English pronunciation is really bad, which is why I would like you to check out the blog post, which I'm going to attach into the episode of this episode. And that's really all. Thank you very much for your listening.